Right, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Obi-Wan Kenobi has it's been a flutter with loads and loads of rumours. It's been ridiculous. So we want to go through this Hollywood Reporter article first, because they are probably the most legitimate outlet to get into. Then we do have some comments from Ewan McGregor himself, which will kind of bounce off the back end of this, plus an additional rumour that Obi-Wan Kenobi is now being thought of being developed into a movie instead. It's just a complete shit show, basically. But we'll take a look at the Hollywood Reporter first, because again, they are probably the most reputable outlet who's been producing some of the rumours. They've been reporting on them as well, right? So Ewan McGregor and director Deborah Chow remain attached to the Disney Plus project, but the scripts are being reworked, basically. So Disney Plus and Lucasfilm's Star Wars series centered on Obi-Wan Kenobi has been put on hold as the companies attempt a retooling. Now that is from multiple sources telling the Hollywood Reporter. Now it's interesting because this does go back to what Ewan McGregor has said in an interview recently, but he's given a set timeline, which we'll get to in a second. So the effort in which Ewan McGregor is set to reprise his role of the famed Jedi Knight was in the throes of pre-production. So it's interesting that it was set for pre-production, but now it's going back to the drawing board. Is it in trouble? Who knows? You tell me. The project had Hossein Amini writing and a director in Deborah Chow, who became the first ever female Star Wars director thanks to her work on Disney Plus's buzzy series, The Mandalorian, which her episode was good actually. Sources say that the show was even screen testing actors opposite Ewan McGregor. So they were in quite... I mean, they were full pelt ahead. It wasn't like, oh, you know, we're just getting the scripts done and all of this. They were doing screen tests. They had... basically, when they were at that stage, they've locked in scripts. Right? They think that the scripts are good enough to continue and move forward. Now, sources say, the Hollywood Reporter, that the scripts, only 2 were written, and story became an issue, and that the entire package has now been jettisoned. That's not a good sign. Lucasfilm is now on the hunt for a new writer to pen the series. So basically the writer's been given the boot. Unsurprising with Lucasfilm and Disney, is it really? Have a long history of doing this. Now at the same time, sources say that the project is being reconfigured from 6 episodes to 4. That just sounds like a... well... it's a movie, isn't it? It's a miniseries. It's a limited series. 4 episodes. What's the point? Just do a movie. So it's unclear when the show will ramp up again, although insiders stress that McGregor remains attached to Star and Chow remains on as director, and Disney did not want to comment. The development follows social media rumours a week ago that the series was cancelled. Those posts proved premature, but did expose the project was facing problems. But it doesn't sound too much like premature, because the fact that they've gone from 6 episodes to 4 means that they're really, really thinking long and hard about the script structure, the budget structure, whether they even have a story or not. Now, it is unclear why scripts became an issue so late in the process. Again, kind of what I said, right? They've got scripts locked in if they're starting to do screen testing. One source said that the Kenobi story trod similar ground as The Mandalorian, seeing the Jedi Master lending a protective hand to a young Luke and possibly even a young Leia, which we'd heard rumours about that anyway, perhaps mirroring how The Mandalorian took Baby Yoda under his protective custody. Disney had never unveiled an expected release date for the Obi-Wan series, and hours after the news broke, IGN caught McGregor at an event, and he told the outlet, so this is what goes on to his information anyway, he did not expect the release of the series would be delayed, but noted filming would shift from this summer to January 2021. Now I'd say that's BS, because there was never a release date. So it's 100% been delayed, and of course the release date is going to be delayed. But because they never announced anything, they don't have to tell anyone. And obviously when you hear about these things, this immediately gets people concerned. And then again, immediately people go, right, well, it's bad news then. It's been delayed, has it? And then that gets the red flags going. But they've got an out here where they don't actually have to admit that it's been delayed, because they never told anyone a release date. Now he said, and I quote, "It's just slid to next year, that's all. The scripts were really good. You've gone from 6 episodes to 4, Mr. McGregor. No one's stupid. They can't be that good. You've also had a writer be fired. The scripts are not good. Now that episode 9 came out and everyone at Lucasfilm has got more time to spend on the writing, they felt they wanted more time to write the episodes. And someone else entirely. This isn't mindless hate and spewing outrage. They've fired the writer. They've gone from 6 episodes to 4. And they've delayed the production. And they had already locked down the scripts because they were doing screen tests. That means that they had characters in the scripts that they needed to cast and were doing screen tests for. So, no. They weren't happy with the scripts, and the scripts weren't good, Ewan. No one's that stupid, mate. So last August, McGregor surprised Star Wars fans by walking out onto stage at D23 to confirm that he would be playing Kenobi once more. The actor had flirted for years with a return to the character after last playing the role in blah blah blah. Now, in 2017, THR broke the news that Disney Lucasfilm was developing a spin-off film, which, that makes sense. That was long been rumoured and things like that, but then obviously got scrapped, right? And it sounds like they're just reworking that element. If it was only 6 episodes to 4, I mean, Jesus. Now, it's interesting, isn't it? So, the Obi-Wan news comes as Disney and Lucasfilm are at crossroads with Star Wars. The franchise has been put on pause, at least in terms of the big screen, following December's Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, which concluded the 9-film saga that began in '77 and was greeted with mixed reactions. Though the pick has earned $1.03 billion globally to date, it is on track to be the lowest grossing of the sequel trilogy. It will be the lowest grossing. Now, look, these are the other comments that were made, right? We just pushed the shoot to the beginning of next year. The scripts are really good. I saw 90% of the writing and I really liked it. All this bullshit about creative differences and all that stuff, none of it is true. But sorry, McGregor, they fired the writer. And you've gone from... You were literally in the throes of pre-production. You had scripts locked in. 2 scripts were locked in. You've gone from 6 to 4. You fired the writer. And now you're rewriting things. The scripts were not good. They were not good. They can't be. We just pushed the dates that they want. Last episode, 9 came out. Blah, blah, blah. So they slid the shoot. And it's not nearly as dramatic as it sounds online. But again... It is because they fired the writer. That's not a small thing to do when... And again, firing writers is commonplace. But not when a script has been locked in and you're entering into pre-production to that level. That's not commonplace. The show starts shooting in January. And I think they want to keep the same release date. So it's not really going to affect the viewer in any way. It just simply gives them more time to write and make the scripts even better. Yeah, but again, there was no release date announced. No release date ever announced. And then it goes on to this, right? Lucasfilm were or still might be planning to make the Disney Plus series a movie again. So this is the other rumour. So a new rumour shared by CineLinks' Jordan Mason on Twitter said Lucasfilm were or are, hard to say right now, considering shifting Obi-Wan Kenobi back to a movie instead of a show. The lower episode count would mean that they've certainly trimmed elements down. They've basically made it a mini-movie. It's a mini-series, it's a movie. Now... Why does this particular piece of news and rumour, again from basically a nobody, actually have some weight? Right, let's take a look at this. Okay, you have, and this is just common sense, you have the overall Star Wars movies from just a film threshold perspective, wouldn't have actually made, and this is really important, distinguish the terminology here, a lot of net profit for Disney, the films, out of what they paid for it. Right? They paid like $4 billion to George Lucas for the property. $4 billion. Now, again, you got to remember it's net profit. That's really important to note. Not gross profit, net profit. This one being the lowest earner here, knowing full well that if they make another movie... Disney Plus doesn't earn any money for them. It's only subscription services, right? And a lot of people pirate that stuff. They sail the high seas, Ari Miharti. Okay? Now, Disney, if they're really smart about this, they will make this a movie. Because the profit for this the net profit is going to be higher. That's just simple mathematics. So, as much as the last rumour about it being a movie comes from a nobody, basically, like, it's unfounded, isn't it? It's like, well, I've just said this and blah, blah, blah. But it makes sense. And especially for them to go from 6 episodes to 4, they're trimming the fat right out of this series. I reckon they'll make this a movie. And if they don't, then they're stupid. Because quite frankly, there's more money in it being a movie. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on all this. I thought I'd do like a big kind of round wrap up about all this. It's been unfolding for a little while, and I haven't touched on it because there's not really been any concrete evidence. But it seems to be right now because we've heard rumours, we've heard confirmed by Ewan McGregor himself. And yeah, it's done basically. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Step there on the world of pop culture movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I've been Mr. H. Take care.